Open a new sketch in the front plane and use the center point rectangle tool to create a rectangle of 130 millimeters tall by 100 millimeters long. Then use the corner rectangle tool to create a rectangle of 125 millimeters by 95 millimeters. Trim away the extra edges. Then transform the whole shape that you've made to the right beyond the right plane line. Mirror this using the right plane line and close the sketch. Now extrude the shape by 100 millimeters. And go into the top view and make a sketch on the upper face of the left-hand side bookend. Now draw a line from the middle and make it 50 millimeters long. Then use the center point rectangle tool to make a rectangle with sides of 15.1 by 15.1 millimeters. Extrude this and remove 2 millimeters of material. Open the tab on the right to change the color of both of the shapes to be the same grey color. Now the bookend is ready for assembly. In a new part studio, open a sketch in the front plane and use the center point rectangle tool to create a rectangle of 75 millimeters by 70 millimeters. Then use the 3-point arc tool to create a semicircle with a radius of 37.5 millimeters. Afterwards, make a triangle shape and the length of the bottom line should be 25 millimeters and each other side should be 17 millimeters, and use the equal tool to make them equal the same. Afterwards, use a linear pattern to copy this over 3 times. Trim off the extra line at the bottom and then use the line tool to make a 2 millimeter line upwards. Now draw a horizontal line from the 2 millimeter and it should be 75 millimeters long, and trim off the extra edges that you made now. Using an ellipse, create an ellipse from that line at the top of the rectangle and make it 20 millimeters long and 25 millimeters tall. Afterwards, make a second ellipse on the same line within the ellipse you just made and make it 5 millimeters wide by 8 millimeters tall. Then what you do is you copy the ellipse over further along the line and then you move the original ellipse that you made more to the right as well. Afterwards, trim off all the extra lines from the old rectangle. This will make extrusion much easier. Furthermore, make sure that both the eyes are in line with each other. and you can use the horizontal tool by making a line between the center of the ellipses. Once you're done with that, close the sketch and extrude the whole shape, including the eyes, by 40 millimeters. Now reveal the sketch and click on the eyes to remove 1 millimeter of material in an extrusion. Now we're ready to change the color of everything. So we're going to make the whole part red, and then we're going to select the specific parts of the eye. Like the eyeball will be white, and then we'll select the pupils to be black. Moreover, you'll have to add a fillet on the inside ridges at the bottom of the ghost, and this will have a 3 millimeter radius. And now the ghost is finished and ready for assembly. In a new part studio, open a sketch in the front plane and use the circle tool to make a circle with a diameter of 100 millimeters. Afterwards, make a line from the center to the edge of the circle and mirror this across the top plane line. Trim off the extra edges and use the dimension tool and select both lines to get the angle and set that to 55 degrees. Now the shape of PacMan is finished, so we need to transform it upwards by 46.5 millimeters. Now we extrude it by 40 millimeters. And then we make a sketch on the top plane in the bottom view. And we draw a line downward from the top. That's 20 millimeters long. And then we use the center point rectangle tool to make a 15 by 15 millimeter square. Now we close that new sketch, and then we hide the part and we extrude the square we just made, and we extrude it downwards 6 millimeters. Now we go to the appearances tab and we color the whole thing yellow, but we change the color of the inside of the mouth to black. Now PacMan is finished and we can put everything together. Open the assembly and insert all the 4 parts that we've made. Now use a fastened mate tool on the edge rim of the right side of the ghost and connect that to the center of the edge of the corner of the bookend on the left. Now make another one, but this time using the bottom of the square that we extruded in PacMan, and then connect that to the hole in the other bookend. And there you have it. The bookend's complete. If you want to 3D print it, I recommend adding a infill of 20 to 30% and also adding a shell inside the ghost and the PacMan to save material. Thank you for watching.